Welcome into a Week 17 Packers defensive breakdown. Packers lose 24-41 against the Baltimore Ravens. They were dominated pretty much all day. The run game was too much for this Packers defense. Obviously, some injuries adding up in this game as well. More players going down on IR. Not that it was going to help the Packers in this game. Ravens basically ran the same run play about 10 times, at least 10 times, if not more. And it was just a big day for Derrick Henry. He proved too much for this Packers defense. So let's dive into the film. All right, very first play that we're going to look at. Very start of the game, second play. You've got 2nd and 1, and this is just a condensed 21 personnel that we're going to see essentially the entire game. Tight end on this side, 2 backs. You've got Patrick Ricard, nearly 300 pounds, playing fullback. And they're essentially going to run ISO weak. All right. They're basically hoping that with this condensed formation, if everything gets clogged up in the middle here, then there's going to be a bounce out lane, whichever side they go, and it's going to force these corners to tackle. So this is just kind of, the intro to why they're doing this. With it being a condensed space as well, these safeties are going to be limited because they've got to work down into traffic in the middle, and you've got this lead fullback that's going to pick up at least one of these backers. So the Ravens just executed this very well all day. And you can see Evan Williams, he's obviously trying to get downhill, fill that gap, but they do a good job with these double teams. So he's just going to get enough of him where it's going to cut that angle off. And he gets, multiple yards. It's just power football. The other thing that I want to pay attention to here is once we go back to the start of this clip, look at how fast they snap the ball. All right, they're set, and then they're going. All right, and we've got a stunt on for some reason. I don't know if Wooden is meant to go this direction, but he's going to left. That leaves 2 unblocked. I don't know, two offensive linemen moving up to the second level immediately, which is why they're able to get a hand on Williams there. And Quay Walker able to make a tackle. But that was one thing that I noticed. It's happened multiple times this year. So Baltimore picked up on it on film. This Packers defense isn't ready all the time. So they're going to pick up the tempo. They're going to snap the ball. They're just going to run it down the throat. All right, next play. This is just going to be Derrick Henry's first touchdown of the game. I think it was probably an illegal shift. We're going to pay attention first here and then the fullback. I'm going to slow it down. It probably would be a 5-yard penalty because if we're looking here, they've got to shift. So he's got to step up to the line. He's got to get set. He's got to step back. And then we're going to have a motion that comes across. And I'll play it in slow motion. You can see the tight end is still getting set. The receiver still getting set. And then you have the motion, which is happening at the same time. You can't have that many guys moving. And then you're just going to get it to Derrick Henry. And he's going to make it work. Get it across the goal line. I don't think this stops the Ravens from scoring. It's just, something in the rule book. Missed tackle. Kind of story of the game for the Packers. And just the drive there by Derrick Henry to get across the goal line. All right, here we are, 2nd and 6. We're going to focus on Zay Flowers. He's going to go in motion, which is going to force kind of this bump, right? So Valentine is going to end up taking him. But as we've seen throughout this year, he really struggles with tackling. We need corners that are able to tackle. And he's in a good position. All right, he breaks on the ball, gets to the receiver, just doesn't wrap up. He just plays patty cake. All right, 2-hand touch. That would be good, but it's not good. You got McDuffie, who's got to, play that middle defender, following a slot receiver all the way downfield, ends up having to make the play. But Carrington Valentine is really struggling in his tackling. Then we've got LVN, who is back in the lineup. Here we have a 2nd and 8. He just gets too far upfield, and we get, stuck by this mobile quarterback. You can see we got essentially a match coverage downfield. You've got them locked up. He sees this, so he bites down, but obviously with 2 guys with their eyes away from the QB, That's going to give a nice lane to scramble. Not able to get anything. Quay Walker obviously in pursuit, but he's able to get a first down. So LVN just trying to get speed. All right, Stanley does a good job here. Maybe hands to the face. And scrambling out for a first down. So mobile quarterbacks biting the Packers again. We've seen it a couple times this year. We've seen it historically with this Packers team as well. And we'll see what I was talking about earlier again, but we'll focus on the left side here. Pretty good job by McKinney and Cooper to prevent a touchdown. But of course, you know, they're going to score the very next play. But here, you can see the tempo. They're getting up to the line of scrimmage. Condensed formation again. Everyone is there, tight. You're trying to catch them off guard. Boom, set, go. Cooper does a good job of taking on Ricard. McKinney steps in. Then Cooper gets that turn. Probably very close to a touchdown. Wouldn't be surprised if that is ruled as a touchdown live and, you know, not overturned. But of course, they end up scoring on the next play anyways. And we see here, quick to the line. Derrick Henry just has to power through. McKinney stands tall. Cooper adds in, gets him down. Very close to a touchdown, and they punch it in the very next play. No, I pointed out LVN a little bit earlier. Here he has a decent play. You've got a nice cut block, which is going to kind of blow things up. He's just going to spill inside. He's going to essentially box that puller. You can see he goes low. You've got a double pull. He's able to go underneath the first one and then make contact and take down Derrick Henry. You can see the lineman obviously calling for a penalty there, going low, but that is a legal play. He's going downhill, cuts the first, goes through, makes the tackle. Really nice job by LVN. Thought he had a pretty solid game overall. Still a little bit rusty, but hopefully he's gonna be fine going into the playoffs. Then you've got a 14-20 game. This is a tough one right before the half. You got 30 seconds left. Driving down, getting into, you know, scoring position. And you're going to have Evan Williams, who's going to make a silly play. He's obviously trying to break up the play. And you get a nice chuck here from Bullard. He's obviously working that chuck. Likely is just going to kind of fit into that seam here. And what looks like a palms type defense. You essentially have quarters, which converts into cover two. If you got shallow routes and that cover two seam is wide open, likely able to get the ball, would have been a first down, but then you have 15 yards on top of it, which we'll see a lot better from the end zone angle, but it is the correct call. It's just unfortunate that this is going to lead to a touchdown. 30 seconds left in the half. Give them a free 15, position them for a score, and put this game a little bit further out of reach. Here we are, 1st and 10, third quarter, nearing the end of the game. You've come out with the same formation. You've done an ISO week, you know, so many times this game. Hey, now let's flip it the other direction. Let's go to the field side. Let's toss it. They're anticipating run on the inside. This is going to make that flow a little bit harder. Right? And you can see this nice job by getting to the next level. Right? They're just going to essentially fake LVN out here and just get to the next level. And he's going to get picked up by the next blocker. So they do a really good job there. Plus, you've got a fullback. All right, Derrick Henry breaking tackles, moving downfield, and Cooper making a heroic effort, because I think if he doesn't get that shoelace, then he's probably gone for a touchdown. So just a really nice job here by the Ravens. You can see that bluff, right? Pinning this guy, making sure that he gets picked up, so that edge is going to be sealed. Then you can go up, you can seal the next level, and then your fullback is going to be coming up and taking that corner. So really nice execution there by the Ravens. Bullard just got to wrap up. He's just trying to use that shoulder. Misses. Stiff arm. Good second effort by Cooper to prevent a touchdown there. Here you're going to get the touchdown to Zay Flowers. This is just the quarterback trusting his guy one-on-one. You can see you've got, birds on a fence, meaning you're going to get man coverage all the way here, right? All the way across. You've got all these guys up at the line of scrimmage. They're going to bring all of these guys here, right? One of these is going to be green dogging, responsible for this back, but there's going to be 6 guys blocking. It's 7. So someone is going to be free. They're going to leave the furthest guy outside free, and Huntley's just going to trust his guy. All right, sets. He sees, Zay Flowers already making that break. Puts that ball outside. Perfect spot. Flowers able to stretch out, get a touchdown. Huntley takes the shot, but hey, it's worth it. You get 6. Just not the greatest coverage in the world by Carrington Valentine. You can see dropping out, trying to take that little hot zone out of the way. Valentine too far. Football move. That's why this is considered, a completed catch. Does reach out. Kind of the Des Bryant rule at this point, but that is a completed pass, even though the ball comes out. All right, and then the last play that we're going to look at, easy touchdown for the Ravens. You come out in that same look, right? 21 personnel, and you're going to run, instead of a toss to the same side with the tight end, you're just going to do a toss weak, and it's going to work to perfection. Here you go. Ricard getting that kick out, and then he's off to the races. All right, so really not much to break down here. Just not a great job. You can see it happening on the inside here. Got 76 going the wrong direction. Valentine obviously not taking Ricard, the 300-pound fullback, head on. That's just going to give a nice lane. Gary, this is really kind of embarrassing, being blocked by a receiver. And Derrick Henry just waltzes into the end zone. That's going to do it for this video. Fewer plays than normal because I was late. I didn't want to make too long of a video, especially when they were running the same play the entire time. Really just better execution by the Ravens in this one. They came to play in the cold with power football. Packers defense did not want to show up and match that intensity. And it's on to the next one. Playing Minnesota. Hopefully this defense can get back on track and shut down, some of these quarterbacks. Give Clayton Tune an opportunity to win this game and go into the playoffs with one last win, but I'm not holding too much hope. So we'll see what happens against the Minnesota Vikings in this last regular season game. But I imagine that the Packers are not going to give their best effort to win going into the playoffs, knowing that they have the 7 seed wrapped up regardless of win or loss. So thank you guys for watching, and I will see you in the next video.